Ladies and gentlemen, we are one day closer to the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and today we have some massive updates, leaks, rumors, all the good stuff, and it just has me so excited to jump into this next generation. So let's go and get right into this video. I'll be honest, we're getting closer to the release of the Switch 2, but I don't think I can wait. So I've been going on the dark web and looking for some kind of time machine medicine, and I finally have it right here. So in theory, I should take this, and then we will go into the future and I will have the Switch 2. I mean, what can go wrong, right?
Yeah. I feel strange. I can't really explain what I feel like, but I don't think this thing worked.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to wait for the Switch 2. We have a very interesting video. It's gonna be a lot of fun to go over all these topics. So before we get started, hit a like and subscribe if you could. Follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep these communities growing. And remember, I'm giving away a Switch 2, so be on the lookout for that. Now let's go ahead and get into the video. First, let's start with some massive news that just came out of nowhere yesterday, and I was like, okay. The Super Mario movie, like, it was fun. It was good. I don't think it was great, but I think it was more than okay, and I think it was good for a wide range of people, right? I would like them to get a little bit more niche, a little bit more like into the actual, I don't want to say lore of Mario, because that sounds ridiculous, but you know, more for the gamers, more for the people who actually enjoy Mario and not just random people. Now we actually have the name for the sequel, and I think the sequel might play into some games. So blockbuster hits including Wicked for Good, Jurassic World, and Five Nights at Freddy 2 streaming exclusively on Peacock following the theatrical release, blah 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 blah. Yeah, they're saying like all this stuff coming from Illumination, and then right here, Super Mario World, Shrek, and Minions. So basically, the sequel is called Super Mario World. What was the first one called? Super Mario Movie? Super Mario Bros. Movie? Something like that. Now, when you think about it, the next Mario Kart game we have is Mario Kart World. This is Super Mario World, and we know Super Mario World, one of the best Mario games of all time. I think it's in my top 3. Would we get a remake or an open world game for Super Mario World? World seems to be the theme, right? So open world Mario Kart, open world Mario game, I think it's all making sense. Now before we get into some more Nintendo Switch 2 news, rumors, updates, leaks, all that good stuff, we have some news that I think will affect the Switch 2, and I just find it so shocking. Square Enix releases new timeline report supports rumor of 2027-28 release for Kingdom Hearts 4, and Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in like what, 2017, somewhere around there? Also, no mainline Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest until 2028 at the earliest, which, sure, Final Fantasy, it is what it is. I still haven't played 16, I don't think I'm going to. But Dragon Quest 12, I mean, they announced this forever ago. I know we have the remakes of 1 and 2 coming this year. I did play the third one, Dragon Quest 3 Remake. It was fun. I don't think I finished it, and yeah, I prefer like the newer Dragon Quest games, but no Dragon Quest until 2028? This is crazy. And you know, obviously all of this will be coming to the Switch 2. That's why I want to talk about it. But Kingdom Hearts 4, like what is that, 10 years between release? 10 years between release of Dragon Quest? This is a lot of waiting. And I was reading some more of these reports, and allegedly they canceled some other series that they are working on, and some people are thinking Nier Automata or Nier Automata. I just don't see how that's possible. You know what's crazy? I think Nier has now sold 9 million copies. Like, it's selling better than Final Fantasy, which is, it's crazy. If we're being honest, a lot of it has to do with 2B. Sure, she's easy on the eyes, but I just think she's a badass character. And I actually want to get Nier Automata again and play through it again, because I didn't get all the endings. So if I can find some time, I'm going to do that. Or I'll just do it on the Switch too. But yeah, I find this interesting because this is kind of mapping out what's coming. And a lot of this will either show up or be canceled and not show up. Now before we get into the actual Switch 2 news, let's go back to the Nintendo Switch. You remember that console, right? You know, I remember it. Nintendo's new store is opening, I think, Friday. I think the 17th, if I'm not not mistaken. Or maybe it already opened, I can't remember. But you can customize a console there, and it's not the Switch 2, which is, it's kind of crazy. Nintendo San Francisco store will allow customized colors for the Switch OLED Joy-Con dock wrist straps, and it's at $350, which is the regular price. But it's like, why? And why is it this expensive? To be able to customize it is cool, right? But I would like to be able to customize the console. They only have white and black here, or that's just a dock actually. Maybe this would be worth it if you could do the actual console, but it's like, what's the point? I can get all these as accessories super cheap. I was just talking yesterday about how no thumbsticks were ever different colors, which I find very strange, but this is $350, man. This is too expensive, especially when the Switch 2 is coming out, especially when we have this deal right here. Costco has a Switch OLED bundle, not just a console, a bundle, and normally this comes with like 12 months of Nintendo Online Expansion Pass. It comes with a case, screen protectors, just a bunch of stuff. This is $200. That is an incredible deal for a Switch OLED bundle. So maybe you have a Switch Lite and you wanted to get a Switch 2 and you weren't able to get one. Dude, just get the Switch OLED bundle for $200. This is an amazing deal. I cannot stress that enough. So I have a Switch OLED. This is so freaking enticing. It's like, do I need another Switch OLED? I don't. But for $200, man. Now let's start getting into some major Switch 2 news. The biggest game of the year so far, in my opinion. I have not played it, but I gotta say, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Like, this game, the way it's being talked about online, I have seen so much gameplay of this game. I have seen so much people talk about it. I feel like I know about the game and I haven't played it. This is just my synopsis, right? It's a turn-based RPG, kind of in the style of Final Fantasy, but it has pairing, it has great voice acting, you can switch between the characters. There's this demon that comes, and they put a number out every year, and if you're older than that, you die, or younger than that, you die, or something like that. And I haven't even played this game. I haven't even barely looked at it. That's just what I've learned from being online. The game does look amazing, okay? Now, the physical copies, I think, are being resold for crazy amounts of money. So if you're able to find one and you want to play it, definitely pick that up if it's a good deal. But I never even thought about this game coming to the Switch 2. So Sandfall CEO Gilliam Broche, I'm going to go with that, isn't ruling out a Switch 2 version of the game. Well, at this point, considering the success of the game, it kind of changes everything. So clearly, it's too early to say, but we're kind of in a situation where, let's say there are a lot of opportunities showing up, way too many at once, and we're figuring out what we'll go for and what we won't. But yeah, it's definitely something that could be interesting on it having a Switch 2 port. So, I mean, this just crosses over with the Nintendo audience in every which way, right? The Nintendo Switch was an RPG and JRPG home powerhouse. It's where you go to find those kind of games. This makes the perfect sense to get on the Nintendo Switch 2. And we see the way Cyberpunk is running. We see the way Final Fantasy VII is running. I see the Nintendo Switch 2 having no problems running this game. And it does interest me, right? But I like playing handheld. I've really barely touched my PS5. I just keep playing this simulation skateboarding game Session over and over. But other than that, I don't really play my PS5 that much. And when the Switch 2 comes out, I don't know why I would play it that much. There's not really that many games that interest me. So instead of playing this on my PS5, I would love to play this on my Switch 2. So if that is a possibility, I mean, I think it just makes so much sense for that to be a main priority for them. Now, speaking of the power of the Switch 2, we have some rumors, we have some insights, we've learned a little bit from Nintendo, but now it's just all out, right? We finally have all the specs. Some of it is surprising, and some of it I'm not too happy about. So we'll go over the graphs in a minute, but this is Digital Foundry saying game developers will have access to 6 CPU cores, 9 gigabytes of RAM, and 4 DLSS presets on Switch 2. Now also, right here, Switch 2 doesn't support VRR, which is variable refresh rate, when docked. And essentially what that does is, like, make the game look better than it is, which is a good thing. Nintendo were saying that this was a feature, but then randomly they like re-put out some reading material or something, some kind of article, something, and they had took it out like sneakily. I don't know if that's a word, but that's the word I'm using. And then people were like, why did they do that? People are saying, well, the answer is simple. Some TVs won't support that, so they can't guarantee that while your Switch 2 is docked, it will have VRR. And I've heard that it's like only certain HDMI cords use it, like HDMI 2.1. But this is crazy, right? So here's some graphs that puts everything into perspective. Yes, you can compare this to other consoles, but for me, it's always been comparing it to the Switch. Like, how much better is it than the Switch? That's all I really care about, right? This is a GPU performance. This right here to this right here. That is incredible, right? Now, when you look at this to the Steam Deck and the PS4, still very fair and very impressive. We have memory bandwidth down here, again, very fair, but right here. So this is the RAM available for games. Obviously, this is going to be the same in handheld and as docked, but yeah, again, this is a Switch 1, this is a Switch 2. Very, very impressive. Now, the Steam Deck does take it right here, so shouts out to the Steam Deck, but I'm just comparing this to the Switch, right? This is Geekbench 5 single core performance and 5 multi-core performance. And again, what is this right here? Okay, this is multi-core. So closer to the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck still takes it in both cases. But the Switch 2, right there neck and neck with the PS4, and right here a little over the PS4. So again, not bad. So I still think with DLSS and VRR and the HDR screen and then also third party, like working directly on ports for the Switch 2, not just on ports in general, we're good to go, right? Nintendo is going to finesse, use our Nintendo magic. Third party, I think, is going to be more than fair, more than accessible, more than acceptable. We are good to go. So it's cool to see these specs actually come out and all be confirmed. It's so crazy to me that the Switch 2 has more RAM than the Xbox Series S. So, but ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. In the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. We're another day closer to the release of the Switch 2. Man, this is crazy. We prayed for times like this, cuh. And yeah, if you made it to this part of the video, also remember I'm giving away a Switch 2 in July, another one closer to the holidays, eShop gift cards every single Saturday for the whole year. Just make sure you're a subscriber, following my social medias, liking and commenting on every video. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.